I have the unusual task of going through the LTMO TMF qualification. Yet again, changes through all the qualifications are driven by industry. And if you're wondering who the industry is, the bodies that represent industry on the sector scheme committees are the TMCA and the HTMA. They're deemed as being representative of the industry. Those of us that aren't members of it, unfortunately, we follow in compliance, even though we don't have that membership. But there you go. That's the way the world runs. So the current 12AB training route to get yourself to foreman is we get the TTMBC operative course underway. Okay, we then gain our practical TM experience over a 3-month period before we then undertake our on-day operative training, and then we complete our logbook of assessments. From there, once we've actually completed it, we get our registration, and at that point, people make a choice as to where they want to go. They make a choice as to whether they want to be a 12A TM foreman or a 12B LTMO. The problem we have, and I'm sure I can ask the question of at least one person in this room, is when was the last time anybody here that is in the foreman trainer, LTMO trainer group did an LTMO course? Absolutely none of you. Okay? That's the problem, that's the issue that we've got. And what we've got is we've got a situation where current data shows that of all of the people that go through the traffic management foreman course, something between 85 and 90% of those people only need to have an LTMO qualification. Reason being is that their interaction with the works covered as a TM foreman is zero. They do not have any interaction, they have no involvement with those types of works whatsoever. To the point where, as a foreman trainer, it gets quite frustrating when you take a 12AB operative who has had no interaction with standard works long-term schemes, and you try to teach him to be a foreman. And basically you take him from zero to here over a 2-day period, and the fallout rate is quite high. And the number of times that I've sat and looked at the same candidate for the 3rd or 4th time because he's trying to achieve a qualification that actually he's not quite capable of understanding, because he doesn't understand what happens out on the road in those situations. And it is quite frustrating. It gets to the point where they actually learn the script. The problem we have then is that we've taught them how to pass the course, you put them into the situation and they don't know what to do. They do not understand it in practical terms. So the proposal is this, okay? It has been agreed by the Sector Scheme Committee at this point, okay? It follows itself through there as it would do previously. At this point, what happens then is that before moving as a TM foreman, okay, they gain the LTMO registration. That's the first stage, okay? After that, if they need to, then they can move on to the foreman qualification and gain that as an add-on or as an additional level to their current LTMO qualification. All right? So a lot of people say, why the need for change? Why do we need to change? Yet again, it's all of these sort of questions that everybody raises. And if we look at it, okay, once we've done that training course, got the registration, why do we need to change? Well, as I've said, we are guilty of overtraining. We're training people to do works that they are not familiar with. They don't interact with it on a regular basis. As I said to you before, 85 to 90% of those people gaining a TMF qualification basically could get through in their day-to-day working life as an LTMO. How many local authorities, I know I do work for local authorities, how many local authorities are trained to a 12A TMF? Okay, and there's lots of them out there. How many local authorities do scheme work, standard works on high-speed dual carriageways? Not very many. Yet we're having to get these guys into there because of this aura surrounding the title of foreman. Okay, as I say, we've changed it. So the majority of people fall into the right category for the works that they actually carry out, right? So hopefully that will alleviate the issues that we have at the moment of training people just to pass a course. The other problem we get, of course, with all of these TMFs, all of these TM foremans about, is that, of course, when people move from one job to another, they walk into, I don't know, a company like mine, for instance, or some of the bigger companies that are out there that are members of the TMCA, with a foreman qualification card. Can they take that at face value, that they understand exactly what's required of them? Because I can tell you now, a lot of them are finding out that when a guy walks in with a foreman card, he doesn't understand what he needs to do. He's done overnight lane closures. That's the only stuff he's been involved with. And so it's difficult for him to then grasp what's required when going out and working on narrow lane schemes and contraflow systems and other works of that similar ilk. So it should help us as an industry to understand the level that people have been working at. Okay? When does it come into effect? I should be clicking all of this. Okay, when does it come into effect? At the moment, it's scheduled for the 1st of April 2019. That's when we're hoping to do it. Steve is busy working hard on the training materials himself. You know, we've been designated our bits of training materials we have to do. So hopefully that's when it will take place. A lot of sort of decisions about how we tackle the anomalies, and there's bound to be a few as they come along, will be taken at sector scheme committee level. We can't make these individual decisions at ground level. What about those people that already hold cards? Okay, what are they going to do? The situation we've got, of course, is that there are a number of traffic management foremen out there that I keep saying they are not able or not familiar with the works that they do. If you already hold the TMF card, then you have two options. Okay? You can undertake the new TMF one-day course, and if successful, it'll renew your card. That's not a problem. But the thing is, the new one-day TMF course will be set at a much higher level than the current traffic management foreman training course that it is now. Alternatively, you can, okay, in some cases, swallow your pride. Sit down, look at what it is exactly that they do, right? And if they feel that all they need is a lead traffic management operative card, then they take the new 2-day LTMO card, okay, and then carry on working as a supervisor, but at that particular level, right? A lot of people see it as a backward step. It isn't. It's getting the right people in the right places doing the right task. As an industry, we've allowed this to snowball. As trainers, we've allowed it to snowball. As training companies or training organisations, we have failed to guide our customers in what their needs actually are, to take a hard look at what they actually do by way of works and say, do you really need a TMF? Do you really need a TM foreman? And what we then get is, I'm thinking of moving it to standard works. There's an awful lot of companies out there that are registered to 12AB on their QA system that have never carried out standard works in their lives, yet they carry a 12A qualification. Okay, so unless they're familiar with it, those companies are going to struggle, and if they are depending on their foreman to carry them through, they could come unstuck. All right, so I think that what we need to do is we need to just make sure that we guide our customers through what it is and assess their needs and train to the level that they need, rather than let them live in that world where they think, yes, we can achieve, but all you are doing eventually is teaching somebody how to pass a test with having very little knowledge of what they need to do out on the road. All right? And that's about it from me. Thank you very much.